Okay, so I'm going to do a quick demo on how to set up a clock, a 1 hour clock in Rubato Plus. I'll do this on an iPad, but basically it's the same as doing it on an iPhone. So the first thing I'll do is I'll tap the new clock on the upper right hand corner, which brings me to this window. I'm going to label it homework, because let's just say I'm setting up a homework for myself, or let's say for a student or a child. And because Rubato works in real time, and you can see it's about 4:01 p.m. on top of the iPad there, I need to let this know that we're going to operate this within the 4 to 5 o'clock time period. And then I'm going to also touch the red box, because I want to change that color to, let's say, purple. And then I'm going to tap create, and we're ready to start. Now, when we create a segment, we're going to tap that hand right there, right below where the 12 would be. And that brings up a first segment. We're going to say math as our first homework. And I'll click done there and tap the hand again. And let's say there's going to be some reading. Now, we're going to say read a certain number of pages, and we'll say 15 pages. Tap done. And then for a break, we're going to put down some music, perhaps. I'm going to tap that color next to music and bring up a nice selection of colors, and I'll do a soft blue there. Now we're ready to change the time segments. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the red and say, which brings up this dial, and I'm going to bring this down. We're going to say math will take about, for our purposes, we'll say 20 minutes. Then I'll tap the orange, or the reading segment, and we'll say that it'll take about, let's say, 20 minutes. And blue, the music, I'll tap it and I'll move the dial to give myself or the person 15 minutes of music time. So we're almost ready to start. Now, math and reading are required. They have to get completed, and so I'm going to lock those two segments. That one lock there next to math, and I'll lock that segment next to reading, and I'll leave music unlocked because that segment can, we can borrow time for that segment if we need to, if we're running late on either the math or reading, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. So because it's operating in real time, it took me just over 3 minutes to set this up. So I'm going to tap the red again, which brings up that first dial. I'm going to slide the whole thing here, and it's going to start. I'll slide it right back. There we go. So we're going to start in a second here, and I'll hit play, and you'll have a countdown up in the left hand corner, because it's going to be in about another 13, 12, 11 seconds until we get to 4:04 p.m., which is when this is going to start. And then once it starts, I'll show you. You'll see all of a sudden it will switch, and it tells you that math is happening in the upper box up there. The real time is off to the right, 4:04 p.m., and on the left is a countdown that goes along with the orange dial that is making its way around the analog clock. It didn't take math as long as we thought, so if the math is now completed, even though there's still some time left, we're going to go ahead and check that circle in the math row down there, and you'll see that it'll now allow us to take time and transfer the save time over to another segment. Now, for most people, they're not going to want to do more than 15 pages of reading when it's their homework. So let's just tap the blue and say we're going to add our time onto there, and now we have up to 19 minutes of music. And what's going to happen is that the countdown clock on the left is letting us know that this minute is almost done, and it's going to go right on to reading 15 pages. Okay, so we actually underestimated the amount of time it's going to take. We did not finish reading in the amount of time, so we ran out. And now it's telling us at the end of that segment, either we're completed or we're going to have to borrow time. So we're going to have to borrow time. I'm going to tap the blue, which is music, and I can slide how many minutes I think it's going to take. Let's say the person has only read about 12 pages. They're going to give themselves 4 minutes. Borrow time, you'll see that it extends the reading segment by 4 minutes, and by doing that, it shrinks the music segment back down to 15 because you gained 4 minutes from finishing math early, but now you lost the 4 minutes because it took you longer to do the reading. And that is behind Rubato in teaching time management.